Hi, it's Robert St-Jacques again, and let's move on to your next question. Based on current events around the world, in your opinion, which leader has demonstrated world-class leadership during this time, and what did they do that was so outstanding? That's a fantastic question and one I just can't wait to get into. So first of all, top of mind. So based on what I've been reading, and I'm a big nerd, so I actually read about this and look at, the journals. It's interesting. If you type in leadership during a crisis, I just typed it in, and we have into Google, and we have 668 million results in 0.44 seconds. So you can tell this is a hot topic, right? But the question is, like, who's exhibited, right? There's a lot of how-to advice and what you should do, right? But who's actually doing this? And top of mind for me is Prime Minister Ardern of New Zealand, Prime Minister Frederiksen of Denmark, President Tsai Ing-wen of Taiwan, and here closer home in Vancouver, Dr. Bonnie Henry. Now, in terms of what made them successful, if you look at the decisions they have made throughout this crisis, and if you look at the outcomes related to those decisions, you could see that the two work hand in hand. In other words, first of all, they acted with urgency, right? So in terms of New Zealand, Denmark, Taiwan, they shut things down very early. Also in the case of British Columbia as well. So that's due in large part to Dr. Bonnie Henry. But all four of those instances, they had the courage, the political and or scientific courage to go forward and clamp down things early, back in March, in the case of Taiwan, back in January, and even December, they stopped flights to China. So the first piece is acting with a sense of urgency. The second thing they do really well is communicate with transparency and say, explain the why. This is why we're doing things, right? When there was a lot of potential downsides to, engaging, being in front of the herd, so to speak, and in front of the curve. The other piece too is they take responsibility for problem solving, right? It's not just, hey, we're doing this and, because somebody else suggested it, or, basically this is the playbook and so on and so forth. They look at the situation they have based on the decisions that they go. They don't blame other people. They don't look at other situations. They say, right, I'm making the decision. We're focused on the problem. And we're focused on, in this case, containment. Then the last piece is they engage in constant updating of their thought process, right? So in terms of Taiwan, they've slowly opened back up. Schools are open again. In the case of Denmark, for example, they're starting back with kindergartners and first graders, again, because children are less likely to be affected by this, so they're starting that process. But the last piece that's interesting is if you look at those four individuals, both in terms of the decisions they made and the positive outcomes, the one consistent character trait, or the one consistent trait, is that they're all women. Think about that for a second.